this past Monday, we put in our petitions, and since I haven't heard anything as of Friday, as far as anybody challenging the petitions, then as far as I know, everything is great. And just for people to know about Diane's campaign, we'd actually run a stealth campaign to get her on the ballot. In other words, we did not let anybody know that Diane was going to run. And she basically did everything possible to make this a last-minute situation, because we did not want all of a sudden, like, I'll give you an example of my campaign, but we did not want a bunch of people running against her. And that's in fact what happened. There's only one other Democratic challenger for Garrett's seat, who's a straight Wall Street guy. I just wanted to just to give people an example of that, I sent on a news clip of this Democratic candidate, Cho, who's going to be running in the primary against Diane. And it was about his first fundraiser, which was held over in New York, the Harvard Club. And just one of the participants there, his brother, one of the contributors at that event, his brother is the president of the World Bank.
What?
Yeah. One of the contributors to Diane's opponent in the campaign. So just to give you an idea that, you know, obviously they don't want Garrett to, they want Garrett to win is what the situation is. And that's why they're running a similar kind of situation as what happened in the gubernatorial campaign. Yeah, go ahead.
Was Diane running for now?
She's running for Congress in the 5th Congressional District. I'm running down in South Jersey in the 3rd Congressional District. Now, in the case of my campaign, the day after the petitions went in, there was an article in one of the papers, well, actually carried in a number of the papers in New Jersey, where they identified that the National Democratic Party has focused on the 3rd Congressional District, where I'm running. And both of the other candidates who were running, one got the blessing of the Ocean County and the Burlington County Democratic Party, and the other candidate are both lawyers, right? They're not, the run-of-the-mill person. There were a number of people who held office, like mayors in that initially said they were going to try to run, but who hadn't. So, I mean, that's really what's going on so far, other than I've already done 2 interviews, one with the Philadelphia Inquirer and one with New Jersey Politicker, which covers a lot of the political events going on throughout the state. The Philadelphia Inquirer, probably either today or tomorrow, the article regarding the 3rd Congressional campaign will be introduced.
When is the primary?
Primary is June 3rd.
That's when that goes down, you'll know what's real life.
Yeah. Well, I had an interesting discussion. I had given a presentation down at the State House and one of the Senate side hearings on a ban on fracking.
Yeah.
And I gave a presentation on that two Thursdays ago.
To get rid of fracking, I hope.
Yeah, to ban fracking.
Yeah.
The Senate Republican, who considers herself not a conservative, a liberal Republican or middle-of-the-road Republican, is the one that sponsored it. Jennifer Beck is her name. So anyway, I gave a presentation there, and the chairman of that committee, who's a Democrat, who's has consistently said when I've been down there campaigning for Glass-Steagall that he doesn't want to have anything to do with LaRouche, right? Nothing. Doesn't want to talk about him. He would just pass me all, saying, "Yeah, I know LaRouche. Forget it." So I gave this presentation on fracking, why we don't need it, and also basically spent most of my time talking about the drought and the loss of agricultural and other foodstuffs across the country. Let me just finish. Huh?
It would
Yeah, kill the groundwater. But I didn't even go through that really, other than I went through the fact that there was massive drought going on. You know, most of the people that spoke there talked about, well, we need this because this will be good for business and this and that. So I basically went through, you know, the side of it that one of the senators later said threw a whole different aspect to the whole issue of fracking, because we're talking about losing whole sections of the agricultural capability of the country. And later also, I talked to the senator who chaired the committee, this anti-LaRouche Democrat, who came up to me when we were trying to talk to people later in the day about Glass-Steagall and said, you know, that was a great presentation you gave. And I said, yeah, I talked to him a little bit, and I said, oh, by the way, I'm running for Congress also as a Democrat. And he went, did they choose you? And I went, not yet. But he was totally, I mean, he was clearly, and other people on the committee were clearly shaken by what I put forward around this thing. And like this senator said, because there's a whole other aspect to this. It's not about making money, it's about, you know, killing the nation.
I don't know where it is in the state legislature. We got a fight going on in Albany on fracking, trying to keep it out of the state of New York.
Right.
Because, you know, that crap is no good. Now, to show you what people know, and this is, you're running for Congress, you gotta know about this, because you had one idiotic congressman from down south say, well, you know, they've never been sued, these people fracking. Well, there's the Halliburton law. You can't sue the bones. You see, it's once they get permission from your state legislature to frack in your particular state, then that's it. You can't sue them because they've already got permission. What they did was legal.
Right.
This is known
Well,
as
that still doesn't give them the ability to pollute the water
Yeah,
and get away with it.
Yeah, let Bruce talk.
Yeah,
You have no recourse.
right.
The only people who can perhaps get a remedy is the state. But the state has to prove a hell of a case that these.
Well, what I did
Yeah,
is
let
I
Bruce talk.
superseded
Let
that by
Bruce talk.
talking about nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Because that really made the point, that there's no reason, you know, it's not, you know, it's really crazy because, you know, it's like if Wall Street told you to run down the street naked because you'd make $1 million, should you do it? You know, that's really what you're talking about with this fracking. It's has nothing to do with the real economy. Everybody knows it's for export. It has nothing to do with the U.S. It's just to make money for Wall Street. That's it.
That's it.
So, you know, I really wanted to leave it at that. I didn't want to take too much time. But, you know, it should be a great campaign. You know, it should be a lot of fun.